So just realize that if you simply talk to people, so in this course, most of your learning is not from listening to my voice. It's mostly when you start to reflect on what you should be doing about what you're hearing. And in that way, it's your decision to change the actions that creates a different result. So even if you're not sure of all the stuff that I'm talking to you about today and whether it's true or not true until you prove it to yourself, if you go out and actually do some of it and you say, my gosh, I didn't know that this would make a difference with this difficult employee, or I had no idea that I could create this vision that's different from what we've been experiencing here day to day. And you just actually do something like that. It's kind of like that cereal commercial that used to be on years ago where it was like, oh, I'm not going to try that. Try it, Mikey, you'll like it, right? And they get Mikey to try the cereal, and he likes it. So then he decides that he's going to eat more of it. In the same way, when I ask you to do something different, I want you to try something different, and you might get a positive experience. Even with good old Joe, that guy who is sort of the crusty, difficult employee, when getting him to try a different behavior set, he eventually found out that being a good employee was better than being a difficult employee. Up until then, he thought that being a difficult employee was either more fun, more rewarding, you know. So you gave him a choice by treating him a little bit differently. All right? So in here, what we want to do is to see how we can influence people's behaviors. Now, you'll see on page 5 of the workbook that your personal beliefs about people drive their reaction to you. This is really interesting. And you've probably seen it. Have you seen it in your organization where there's an employee that may be difficult, that one supervisor or working leader or lead hand considers the person difficult to deal with, and then they get transferred or they move on to someone else, and all of a sudden someone doesn't have those same problems or issues with that person? Happens every once in a while. So it's interesting. Did the person change, or did the way that they were led change? And if you think about that, the behavior you see in your work group is a reflection of your leadership style and approach and what you believe about people. So in this case, what we found out, and this is from McGregor's study, is that a Theory X manager or a Theory X working leader or lead hand, on one hand believes that people aren't very bright, they're not honest, they're lazy, they don't want to do very much, they avoid responsibility, they're not interested in achievement, unable to control themselves, they don't care about the company's needs, they want to be directed, right? If you believe that about people, guess what? That's exactly what you're going to see happen. They're going to show you how they're sneaky and not wanting to work and that sort of thing. Because that's what you believe, that's what they're capable of. They did a study where they compared, they took a randomized group of students. And they took half of that randomized group, so just strictly random. They put half of them with a teacher, and that teacher, they said, you know what, you've got the gifted students. It's going to be a real struggle for you to challenge them in order for them to grow, but they're really high performers. To the other group, I feel bad for them, they gave them to a teacher and said, these are the slow learners. These kids are going to have difficulty learning. And what they found out, sure enough, by the way, all the grade scores, all the IQs were normalized. At the end of the year, the gifted students had the A's, the other students had C's and D's. All because the teacher approached it from the angle that these students are gifted and these students are not. And I'll tell you as a supervisor, if you've decided that these employees are good and these employees can't be trusted, that's exactly the behaviors that you're going to see. Absolutely.